Hi everyone. So today we got to play
The city,
The
city, not the castle. The city of the big shoulders.
So this is a game by Raymond Chandler III.
Mm-hmm.
Artwork was done by Emily R. Baring. So this game is basically set right before the Depression in Chicago. You are
after the Great Fire of Chicago.
So, yeah, after the Great Fire. So you are an investor, and you start investing into different companies, and you try to make your companies thrive and produce product that is available or being sought out in the market. And then, again, you're just trying to make the most of your investment.
It's not... I make the mistake often when playing this game. It's not a game about running your company, although that is an important aspect of it. It's about the investments you make in companies. So it's not about how much, how well or how successful your company is, so much as did I invest in companies that were successful.
See, the key thing there is it's about your investment, not your company's.
Right.
So, that's getting into a little bit of gameplay. So you kind of understand the synopsis thus far. So let's talk about quality of pieces.
Before we go into quality, this is a heavy game. This is not for your faint of heart. It is I would say a medium to heavy. It's not super heavy as in like an advanced, really advanced like 18xx type game, although it's close, it's borderline to that. So this is not something for starters. You definitely someone who's well versed in gaming before you would want to tackle this one.
Yes. So talking about quality of pieces, I have no real complaints about any of the pieces.
Well, I do and don't. I mean,
everything seems to be fine.
This is, I think, if I remember right, this was a deluxe version of this game. This is not just the basic.
The expansion was you remember we had to get that separate box?
There was separate pieces we got that upgraded the pieces we had. So the board is really nice. It's it's got kind of a layout of the city of Chicago and the streets in the background, but it's faint, which is kind of neat. What I love about this game are that the companies are actual companies. This is you've got Brunswick, you've got Elgin, you've got Schwinn,
Oscar Mayer,
Cracker Jack, you've got
and see
Libby's.
Not only are they real, but they give you the history of
on the backs of everyone.
So that is super cool. That so this can actually be a bit of an education game if you're kind of doing some of this. So this is actually really cool, I think. But this goes to more into theme, I think. So far as quality of pieces. But
the boards, I mean, they're not super thick, but they're good cardstock. They don't bend easily. The pieces are all pretty generic. I mean, your workers are old style. I mean, just like we were talking about Clue the other day, they're almost exactly what we played with in the Clue game. Now, the base game, when you get it, has cardboard for the tokens to represent the companies, but this one is the upgraded where we have wood ones, which makes it like a lot nicer pieces.
Yeah, that's true.
The people that you actually use as your workers that you're assigning are kind of like torsos, busts of a person wearing this top hat, and those are kind of neat. They have every player color. And then you have managers and salespeople for your businesses, which are just little meeples.
Yeah. And the cards are fine. The stock that you deal with it, I don't.
Yeah, we've not.
They don't get shuffled or anything, so they're fine.
Yeah, you don't even need to bother sleeving them.
You do get the cool bag for the cubes. So you do have resources in the game. The resources are cubes. They're in there. So I don't think there's anything outstanding in the quality of pieces, but I think everything is sufficient. Do you feel like that's an accurate statement?
I would say, I would give this an 8, mostly because, I mean, it looks elegant, certainly, as far as the box goes. The board is really nice.
It does have a presence to it.
It has presence. It's not going to be spectacular on your table, but it does attract the eye. You got the starter player token, or first player token, has the train that's got nice good gold paint on it. And the art, we'll get to the theme
Yeah.
later with the art.
I will say this, though. I remember, so this was actually a Gen Con pickup. Obviously not this year because of the lack of Gen Con, but the year prior, I actually walked by these booths and I saw it and I was like, hold up, wait a second, this is our kind of game. So it did call out to me from the show floor. So that should say something about that. So originally I was going to say 7, but I think you kind of talked me into 8 because the very fact is I stopped and looked at this game in a very, very crowded room to ask questions.
Oh, not only did you stop to talk about it, we picked up the game with the knowledge that we couldn't get the upgraded pieces, and we had to do an order online to get them after the fact, but it was worth it. We still went ahead and bought it knowing that fact and ordered them in advance. So yeah, it was definitely something that attracted us when we were there.
So moving on to theme, I think this is a wonderful theme. Just the very fact that so you're an investor, you have your different companies, you can have more than one company in the game, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. But it really, it feels like this. I mean, it feels like you're investing in companies and you want the best for the companies, but at the same time, you want to get paid, right? Well, yeah, so it has some elegance to it that I absolutely love with this theme.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of ties to Chicago. So Chicago is one of the cities I do love. And the fact that it's tied to the history of Chicago and the companies are legitimate, actual companies, which, that the history being on there is really interesting to me. And, it's, as far as, like I said, the art is thematic for the time period. It's really, appealing. The way the game flows and the between the companies and the investing and how much product you can sell, the demand, and then when the depression hits, the demand drops off. It really incorporates the feel into the game of the theme.
Yeah, they did a lot of wonderful things to truly replicate some of what this theme is really about, and so that was truly fantastic. What would you give it score-wise?
I'm going to go with a 9 on this as far as theme. I don't. Again, the art is attractive on the board, and the pieces are not super exciting as far as the pieces, but what you have with these, I mean, just the company things alone is amazing. And if you do choose to use the dollar, we don't use the money, but the money's very pretty as far as the pieces you get for the money. The stock certificates are really cool.
Yeah, the stock certificates look a lot like really nice.
Actual stock certificates.
They do actually.
I think they just captured a whole lot into the pieces, even though they're not any of them are nothing by themselves individually exciting. Except for these boards. I mean, these are really cool.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So. I agree with the 9. I feel like that is adequate because, I mean, it really does draw you in. And it really, there may be some bickering like you would do in the old stock market. That's all I'm going to say. So, let's move on to rules.
So this is a heavy investment. If you're going to learn to play this game, it is a lengthy,
find a friend,
hard to read. It's not laid out badly. It really isn't. Given the fact of how heavy this game is, the book is actually pretty well ordered. The problem is it's just a lot of material. And I don't think, we've played this several times, and every time we find something that we've missed as far as a rule, nothing major.
Or even just a forgotten thing. Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, that applies.
But there's just a lot to this game, and the rules are pretty helpful for what it is. There's a lot of pictures, a lot of descriptive text. There's a lot of reference in it. But it's just, there's so much to this game that you're going to struggle with this book if you're not someone who's used to heavy games. It's going to take you some time. I think the book itself, if you're just evaluating the rule book, it's probably an 8.
Okay.
But it is just, it's not going to be, it's going to take you some time. You're going to probably want to read through it a couple times, watch some playthroughs maybe. in order to get this, because it is going to take some work.
Find a friend who knows this game. So it's
going to take some work to get this game down.
You know, the thing is once you start playing, I don't think it's too bad. I think it's a lot easier to learn as you play it with with a group that already knows how to do it. If you have
someone that knows, I mean, we were able to teach your dad today pretty easily. It took him around.
It took him a couple of rounds.
Unfortunately, by the time he figured it out, he felt like he was already behind, and that's frustrating because I mean, you sink several hours into this game. And to feel like in the first turn, because you didn't know the game, you're already lost. You basically either want to start the game over, or as he said, let's play it again, you know. And you don't want, today being, Christmas, we didn't want to spend all day playing a 4-hour game twice, you know. So, we wanted to make sure that he understood it so that next time we play, he'll, be able to invest the time from the beginning. So, yeah. It's definitely something that's worth learning if you're interested in this, but it's not something you're going to pick up easily on the first try. You're going to have to struggle some with the rule book and through the rules.
Yeah, and I think that's true with any heavy game. And so just know that going in, it's a heavy game.
Yeah.
And I think that's as long as you take that, you'll be fine. So moving on to playthrough, because I trust your opinion in rulebooks.
Yeah, there was no way she was going to sit through the rules on this one. There was zero chance.
And I didn't. Honestly, the guy was selling me on this, and he was trying to teach me the rules. And I said, "Can I just buy the game?" I just want to buy the game. I don't yet. And he was trying to explain to me, and him explaining it to me sounded complicated, to be honest. I was like, we're going to sit down and play or read it because I don't understand. So going to playthrough or going to gameplay, it's very important to note in this game, you are not your company.
Exactly.
You and your company's success may not be intertwined.
Yes. It's very easy to get distracted in trying to run your company as optimally, as efficiently as possible, as I do every time I play this game.
I know.
As a result, I generally don't win this game because today I did, but generally I don't. Tajik takes advantage of the fact that I get obsessed with playing my company, and then he does things to kill my company.
I buy all the stocks and then dump them last turn.
Yeah.
And he didn't do that this round, and that's why he won.
No, your dad tried to do that, and then I paid him back in kind.
I know, which kicked me in the butt, too. Appreciate that.
No problem. So, the thing is the companies are a lot of fun to run. It is easy to get obsessed with your company because they're different. Every one of them is different, and they play very differently.
I'll be honest. If the game had just been about running your companies, I would have been happy.
I would have preferred it, actually.
I mean, but the thing is, okay, so we're not lying here. I say that a lot. But the thing is this is supposed to be about a stock market game. We actually had a few questions that we actually sent to.
The maker of the company wrote us back and said, this is not a company running game. It is a stock investment game. And I'm like, okay, I understand. It doesn't mean that I love the fact that you run the company. The stock part is, is not important to me in this game, but that's what this game is all about.
Yeah, but and honestly, so when we play it, we don't focus as much on the stock as probably other people will. But I will say this, if we truly played the stock bit, it is a very screw your opponent.
It can be
brutal.
The frustrations I had with the game is because as we were learning it, and we saw that, the strategy emerge from Tajik, of course, where you trash other people's companies by selling their stock. We were like, well, you could do that in turn one. And that's what prompted me to write the creator and ask him, because I was just curious, like, what's to prompt, anyone not to go ahead and just do that? And he's like, well, you can. I mean, you absolutely can. And I guess we haven't played any of the 18xx games, but apparently that's one common thing that occurs in those type of games. And I'm like, I don't know that I want to play those kind of games now, because I don't enjoy that part of this game at all.
Yeah, so I will.
Yeah, he likes being a Cylon.
I know, right? Tell me about it. I think the thing is the investment. I do, as far as building your company and having the stock market and your stock market increasing based on your company building. I love that part. But we don't play where we totally screw each other on the buying and the selling of the stock market. I feel like you could. I feel like that there are certain people that would love that aspect. I'm glad we don't play that way. We may not be married if it continued. Like, there may be some relationships lost if we were truly, because we can be very competitive, and I could see this totally ending badly.
Yeah, I'm really dreading when we do our review of diplomacy, because we may not be speaking to each other for weeks after that.
So, with that being said, there is a lot going on in this game, and I love the company building aspect. I enjoy a bit of the stock market. I like the prices going up and down basing on selling and stuff. And I love, so over here you end up with a market. So basically, you end up, orders are placed, and depending on how many are in the thing, if you fill up the card, you get a bonus. So it's basically your orders coming in for your product. That is super cool.
I would summon some pictures of that, but I'm afraid you would leave them out and I'll look really stupid again, like I did in the last one. So I'm not going to do it.
I did something a little bit different. Thank you.
You just made me look like a fool
you
in the last video.
You didn't send me the right pictures, so there we are. So there is a lot to be said for this game. I actually really like this game the way we play it.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is going to be a really hard one to get a good score for, because if you play it the way we try to play it, I love the engine building aspect of this. I love, not really engine building. It's not really that. It's developing your company. And I'm gonna say it and brag about it a bit, but I think I'm probably the most efficient runner of my company. Doesn't matter a hill of beans in this game, unfortunately, but I think I do.
Wait a second. I can give you a run.
I'm not saying you don't, but I am my companies run very well. That's why Tajik invests in my companies. And then he trashes them. And that makes me very upset.
Hey, I didn't do it this last time.
You did not do it this game, but
and
I
that's
won.
why you won.
I had all your companies.
You do. You always do.
You should have sold off. Well, and see, I normally just say, I just make my company so expensive that people can't just buy it because they feel like it. And they can't trash it because they invested quite a bit into that. Thanks. So we all do different things. There's definitely a lot of strategy in this game. I really do like this game.
I like aspects of it a lot. And there's aspects, like I said, I don't care for as much. Mostly the fact that there's such a huge penalty when you sell other people's stock. It's not...
Especially to the bank.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's the only way to sell it. Is to the bank.
Well, but if someone doesn't pick it up by the time it's...
Right. I'm just saying. And if you get in a situation like I was in today, where I had already invested all my stock and I couldn't buy anymore with, basically without selling. And at that point, it becomes, now my stock is trashed. It's over in the bargain bin. Now it's very tough for me to get out of that situation. And when you do buy it from the bank, it doesn't raise your price back up. It just keeps it where it is. So basically, yes, you get to buy it at a cheaper price, but the value of it is now less. So, someone buying your stock right away, and the whole doing that in the first round potential to me is a hole in the game. I don't like that exists, because there is the potential where one person could buy the 20% stock of the person to their left. Everybody does it, and then everybody sells it immediately the next turn. And as a result, their stock plummets right out of the gate, and then it becomes a real problem to start the game off. And that's a hole, I think. I know it's intended hole. I don't like that hole, and I think that it's going to make the game slow down from the get. We don't play that way, so I could see this having, depending on who you're playing with, becoming a real beast of a game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. It's really going to be about who you're playing with, if they're heavy into the stock market, because you could totally play it to where, I'm making $10 now, and you just keep flipping stock over stock over stock and ruining your opponents, and there were times I was like, what if I had, because I saw that Randy was getting ahead quite a bit. I was like, too bad I don't have a stock to be able to sell, because the reality is, if if Tajik had ended up selling, even just 3 or 4 or, even 2 or 3 of your stock, he would have ended up winning the game. But he didn't. And so I think that's something to keep in mind is that if you go away from the company building like we do, so hello maker to this game, if you are watching, please make a game where it's actually about company building for us. But other than that, I mean, this could really be cutthroat. So I guess it really depends on your playthrough.
Yeah, because I mean, running the company, like I said, is a lot of fun. And
but I do like the fact that as an investor, you're different from your company, and that you can have more than one company.
I like that too, and I like diversifying and running multiple companies and meeting demand and supplying. Basically buying the companies that you're choosing to go into based upon their features and what the demand is. I love that.
Yeah, and that is something. Every company is different. They require different goods. They require different workers. They require different salespeople, and then some
of them could be upgraded.
Some of them can be upgraded. Some of them can't. They're when you choose your company, you really are choosing your play style for that company. But remember that you can end up having 2, 3, maybe even 4 different companies in a game. It really kind of stretches you thin. I'm not gonna lie.
And some of the companies make you really feel like it's a union shop, which is really interesting mechanic that. Every company runs a little differently, and some of them are very unique, and that's really cool. Some of them, they're fully automated. Some of them don't require any material. I'm not sure exactly how they're creating things when they don't have material.
You don't want to know.
I'm thinking Soylent Green is people. That's what I'm thinking when you're playing those games, or those companies.
Yeah, so I mean, there is a lot of fun to be had with this game. There's also could be a lot of backstabbing, torture.
Yeah. You got to come in with thick skin. You can't come in you feeling, people are personally attacking you, even if they are.
Yeah. We see you over there. So give it a score, though. I'm going to hold you to the fire. Give it a score.
If it weren't for the holes that I feel are in the game, I would probably have given this one a 9 to 10, but I'm probably going to give it an 8 just because of that. I think it's still a great amount of fun. It is a lengthy investment, and if you get in a lengthy investment and something goes horribly wrong, it can be a downer. So I don't think I can justify giving it more than an 8, even though I love aspects of this game.
Yeah, I do want to say that if this game, so there is the way we play the game, I feel like I agree with you that it is definitely at least a 9, if not a 10. But because depending on your players, it can get so cutthroat. I'll be honest, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much if it was that cutthroat, because I really feel like this game could be. And if I were, for example, to go to Gen Con and enter a tournament for this, I know I would not be able to handle it whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Or I wouldn't enjoy it not that I wouldn't handle it, but I would not nearly enjoy it nearly as much. But this is such a great game. To give it any less than an 8, though, would be a disservice to the game, too. Oh, yeah. So I'm right there with you. On this, on your scoring. I think that is actually a perfect scoring. Would we play this again? We've done it multiple times. We will. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So I think that really sums up. Do you have any other comments?
Yeah, I would say I would absolutely play this again, but probably not with Sean or Don.
Call them out, why don't you?
I'm just saying, of the people we know, those are the 2 people I'd be very concerned about playing this game with.
You aren't the only one. I mean, I'm just saying.
We love you guys, and we miss you guys, but we probably would not play this game with you.
I will totally play some Zulkin with you, some Terraforming Mars.
Yep.
I don't think I'd play this game with you. I would be in a corner crying, and I, accept that. Yeah. So, absolutely fantastic game. We had fun tonight. We had fun teaching my dad this game, and so it was a fantastic game.
It was a great Christmas, so all around. So got lots of more games to play as well.
I know. So, All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you guys can see more reviews. We appreciate you guys.
Hope you guys got a lot of great games for your Christmas as well. We'll look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.
Bye.